Hello and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at the Lepin Lego cargo train, Lepin number 02008 and Lego number 60052. We're going to be having an unbiased look at the good and the bad of this set and whether it would be something I would buy again in the future. So stick with us. So I've had this set for roughly a month. It's the first set that I've bought that is motorised. I wasn't too sure of, since I haven't never purchased anything from Lepin that is motorised. I wasn't 100% sure how well it would work, whether it would work at all, whether it would be glitchy, etc. I've also given it to my 5-year-old to have a good play with and see how it went. The colours on this are very good. It's a good colour, royal style blue, yellows, so you can see the greens. The outfits on these are pretty decent, as well as the faces. You've got a female face, you've got a guy in shades, guy with a good beard going on, and another guy with a beard. You've got the cow, again you've got the tank, everything else. Also it's elastic band spring loaded. It's pretty decent. You've got the chains on the cargo wheels. So this set was a lot of fun to build. The instructions were very good and easy to follow. I'll show you them in a little while. And after I've had a little look at the items here, we'll see the train running. There are a few areas that haven't been so great. Obviously, as I said, that had this set for a little while now, and little bits and bobs, although it's not necessarily the set's fault. I actually stood on this, and as you can see, the wheel snapped. Now I do weigh nigh on 200 pounds, so you can understand why it snapped, but also the wing mirror here, it snapped off here. My dog stood on that. Now my dog doesn't weigh 200 pounds and he also managed to snap that off, so again I don't know whether it's just poor casting or pretty much that you shouldn't go around standing on your knockoff Lego. There's a few other bits. Vast majority of the set was all here when it was delivered, etc. Although we are missing the rope on here, so there was no rope included. But other than that, all the items were present when this arrived. One of my big gripes with this set so far is the main tender here. The side panels come off pretty easy and they're quite hard to get back on. Now it's not that they're quite hard, but they don't stick on very well. They're pretty flimsy and come off relatively easily, so if you're picking it up by this area, then it has a tendency to lodge loose, which can be quite frustrating to be putting it back on. And this here, the tender cab comes up fine. Let me just... Sometimes when you push it back down it catches on the side and then this back bit kind of pings up. But generally, other than that, the set is pretty decent. Again, I've bent some of the plates backwards to try and shape them into position properly, due to them being slightly out of shape, but once I've found that I've bent them, they've stayed where they should have been. Now, the shed and crane area, this is pretty decent as well. I've been quite impressed with this. This slides really easily, very nicely grooved in. The top bit also slides incredibly easy. Ignore the bits dropping off. I've wondered whether it would be any good, but as you can see, it's pretty spot on. The only slight gripe with this is these wheels on here. They don't always like to sit 100% in the groove. It's kind of bends slightly, so it does. I do find that it likes to sit on the edge instead of in the groove. But again, it slides perfectly well in there, and if it's happy to sit there, I'm happy to keep it there. I don't feel that that's a real big issue at all. Not sure if you can see the computer and keyboard particularly well in there, but again, it's a wonderful print. A good little bit of detail, which I wasn't really expecting. The handles and that twist fine. Again, very happy with the little yard here. So on to the fun bit. Does the train work, and how does it work? You turn it on, as I assume you do with the Lego part. You just turn it on, you push the unit down there and it turns on the power pack in the train. The controller is this style controller. It's pretty good. It seems to work perfectly fine. The keys and everything turn as you'd expect. Now, as you can hear from there, the train does make a whining noise when it's turned on, or when it's about to be used. So let's twist away. Again, I'm not sure if the genuine Lego unit makes the same whining noise, but once it's up to speed, you can't hear it. Now, so it's got a relatively slow speed, and obviously you can speed it up quite significantly to the point where it will pretty much try and fall off the track. But as I say, that whining noise can get a bit annoying, but it does let you know as such that you're turning it on and something's happening at least. So from that, I generally conclude that the train pretty much works as intended. As I said, I've had it for about a month. It's had a good bit of use. I'm on the third set of batteries. Battery time seems to last a good couple of hours. That's not with constant use, but again, take it as you will. So the unit cars generally fit fine. When I first built this, not this one specifically, but in general, I wasn't putting the wheels on properly. I found that you really had to squeeze the trucks in. These come out, and to really squeeze them in to make them fit properly. When I first put them in, they were really stiff, and I put that down to being Lepin. I get a bit paranoid sometimes when building this and think that, wow, you know, the build quality is not all that, and you have to expect defects and bits that don't work properly, and I kind of assumed the train would just pull it. That wasn't the case, and I had to go back and take all of them off and really squeeze them down to the point where it was almost hurting my hands to do it. But it had quite a satisfying pop at the end when they went in, and then when I put them back in, they actually free roll now. So the train is able to pull them a lot better than it was, obviously, when they weren't freewheeling on their own. So putting the carriages on, I've got 2 of the 3 carriages so far. I've heard some people complain that the magnets aren't particularly good. That's a great example. But generally, I've found that these magnets on here are more than sufficient to be able to pull them round without coming off. Now, it does start to struggle when you add the 3rd carriage. Now, it's not the magnet struggling, it's the actual unit itself. Let me just put that on. It's not to say that it can't pull it, it just struggles to get going, and sometimes has a bit of wheel spin. Now, there we go, we're fine on this occasion. So yeah, I have found that it does get a little bit of wheel spin every now and then, and again, I don't know whether that's just because it's Lepin or whether that's a feature from Lego themselves. So this set comes with the oval track, and it comes with 2 points. The track itself I've had absolutely no issues with, other than it being a little stiff to put together. The clip-in parts here have been they can be a bit stiff. Now, I did buy some extra track, and that was incredibly stiff to put together. This has been much easier in general to put together. One of the annoyances that I have had is I snapped the lever off the points here. So I was playing with it yesterday, getting ready to do this video, and I pulled it over and snapped the little edge off. Now, you can still use the points by doing it manually, but it's a bit more fiddly. Now, that is quite hard to move it backwards and forwards, even with the lever. So, yeah, that snapped off, which is a little disappointing and quite annoying, to be perfectly honest. I probably glue something onto it or do some kind of random fix for it, but it's not the best. Other than that one specific point, the other point, may as well make the point, does, again, it's a little stiff, but if you are a bit more gentle with it and don't just yank it over, it will and does move. Now, I don't know whether playing with it more will make it looser. Doesn't sound quite right, that, does it? But basically I'm not going to be quite as heavy-handed. Whereas, to say, that one snapped off pretty easily, and I'm not happy with that. The only other little gripe I have is this unit here. I don't know if you can see it particularly well. It doesn't fit very flush to the base unit here. And there's not a great deal I can do. I can't bend it or anything. It's just a bit of bad casting, etc. Or, yeah, just not very well put together. Yeah, I don't know whether that's a Lego thing or a Lepin thing, but again, it's a small thing. I'll probably glue it on, to be perfectly honest, so it doesn't fall off and you don't have that annoying little gap. Because although it won't bother some people, for some unknown reason it really bothers me. But other than that, other than them few things, it's been a really good set. As I said earlier with the instructions, these instructions are laminated, shiny finish, and you get your stickers, and the book is full colour, generally very easy to follow. I was very impressed. Would recommend. So I paid £50 for this set, which I think is about $60 to $64, somewhere around there, and it retails anywhere between £150 and £250, which is $350, somewhere around there. Would I buy it again? Yes, even though the points, a few other bits and bobs, I would definitely purchase this again, and to be perfectly honest, I'll probably purchase one of the other motorised Technic units, etc. This was kind of like a test to see whether that would be the motors, etc. worked fine, and how well they actually worked. I was a bit sceptical when I first bought it. It was kind of like, well, I've paid 50 quid for it. If it works, it works, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. But having first-hand experience now that the motors and everything seems to work as I'd expect them, I'd be quite happy to purchase more in the future, whether that be trains or Technic units themselves. Hope you found this helpful and useful. Thanks for listening.